Hey friends, it's Michelle Green with Marshtown TV today. And you know, it is summertime and it's that time of year where you want to get out and do things with your family, or maybe you've been cooped up with them and you don't want to do anything with your family. Either way, I have a perfect friend here to tell you about an event that's coming up at Cherokee Park later this month. First off, I want to introduce him. His name is Rain Moore. Rain, thank you so much for being here, not just to talk to me, but also to our friends and talk about what's coming up, which is called, now I told him I had this memorized, the American Indian Gathering Pow Wow. Do I get an A?
Yeah.
Okay, yay!
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. No, seriously though, I think a lot of people here, I know I myself do this, we associate the tribes around this area solely with Cherokee Indians. Mm-hmm. Before we actually talk about the powwow and the dates and times and such, can we go into just a little bit of the history of the tribes in the East Tennessee area?
Yeah, we definitely can. You're truly correct. The Cherokee tribe did have a lot of access to the lands in this area, mm-hmm. but also they had neighboring tribes that come down out of Virginia and Kentucky, which were known as the Shawnee people. Now, the Shawnee, they occupied parts of what is known as the Warrior's Path or Buffalo Trail. Mm-hmm. Part of 25E that comes down from Kentucky bleeds into Buffalo Trail, which you all know as North Cumberland and South Cumberland here in Morristown. The Shawnee and the Cherokee lived on that path, and they would trade with each other, and sometimes, if needed, they would war with each other. Oh. But those were your two main tribes in East Tennessee in this area. Wow. Now, from the west end of Morristown, heading on towards Knoxville, you also had the Yuchi tribe, and that was back in the 1700s. And they migrated on down towards Middle Tennessee and then down into parts of Alabama as well. So they didn't stay in this area too long, but they did occupy some of this. And some people today carry some Yuchi blood as well as the Shawnee and the predominant Cherokee.
Well, let me say, and that's so funny that you say that, because I have a friend of mine that lives in Bean Station, mm-hmm. and the name of the road she lives on is Yuchi, like Yuchi Drive or something. So now I know where that's fascinating. And again, I would have never known other than Cherokee.
Yeah.
So that is wonderful. Well, let me ask you this, and I'm sure a lot of people, I ask things that a lot of people think. So I know you think about Indian tribes and you think about teepees. That's not the only type of housing, right? I mean, what else did you guys live in?
Well, we had wigwams and we had longhouses predominantly.
Longhouses.
Yeah, a lot of our structures were not made from hides; they were made from trees. The reason why is because when you're living in a climate like in East Tennessee, it's very humid here. You look at the Smoky Mountains, there's a lot of mist comes off of that vegetation there. So when you look back at history and you look at Indian tribes living in this area, they didn't predominantly use hides for their housing because that moisture caused those hides to rot.
Oh, wow.
So it was always best to build something more suitable and more stronger for these climates, which was made from wood.
That's fascinating. You know, and again, we talk about events and things coming up that you guys can attend. But see, when you tune into Channel 7 Marshtown TV today, you also get a history lesson. I'm fascinated with this. And again, that was just kind of off the cuff, and I'm impressed that you know all those details.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk just briefly about the event, when it is, what time it is, day, all that stuff.
Okay, July 25th and 26th is our date that we'd like to start the powwow. Mm-hmm. It'll start at 10 o'clock on that Saturday morning, and it'll go on through till about 6 o'clock that evening. And then on Sunday, we're starting at 10 again, and it'll close the event at 4 on Sunday evening.
And again, this is at Cherokee Park.
At Cherokee Park, yeah. We chose that area because it has a lot of significance to tribal history. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of the Cherokee elders say that when they lived in this area, that was considered a sacred area. And, you know, we wanted to go back to that area because that represents part of our bloodline, who we come mm-hmm. from. You know, my brother and I, who's also my co-leader mm-hmm. with the Thunderbolt Warrior Society, we come from Cherokee and Shawnee blood. Oh, so predominantly Shawnee and then the Cherokee, and we're enrolled with the Cherokee Nation. But the way that we looked at it when we talked about this event, we wanted to try to go back towards that sacred grounds that our ancestors mm-hmm. walked on and try to put together an event that would bring all nations together so we could show the similarities with our cultures as well as the diversities, because not all Native Americans are the same. And we want to showcase that, and that's what this is about. So it's not only just, you know, about entertaining, it's also mm-hmm. about education.
I think that's fascinating. And, you know, it's ironic that you referenced your brother who happens to be here. You've got some other members as well.
I do,
So if it's okay, we're just going to kind of cut and do a whole new segment, because I think we need to invite everybody else in because they're going to be participants too.